Hello, and welcome to Greening Up My Axe official first cocktail hour. This is me stirring a gin and tonic. Tiffany, what are you having this evening?
I'm having some red wine.
Excellent choice. I think after last week's episode, we just needed to decompress a little. We are recording a second episode tonight, which means we just got done talking for an hour about plastic recycling.
And that was our second hour.
Yes. So if you made it through with us, thank you. I hope you have a drink of choice as well, something that you love that makes you feel good. To relax your nerves or make you feel fancy.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve it too.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah. If you haven't listened yet, go back. Last week and the week before, we did the fourth horseman of the recycle apocalypse. It was plastic recycling, and if it doesn't enrage you, nothing will.
Truly. I lost sleep and some tears. So but it's so important. I think it's the most important thing we've done so far
Yeah,
because
I
it's
think that is our. If we do nothing else, that is our magnum opus right there.
yes, like I knew it was bad, but I was shocked at what
Yeah,
I discovered. So
yeah, yeah.
I think
Well,
it
and thank you for doing all that research. I'm really excited to do tonight's episode, which is on eco-friendly junk collection, and
Yay.
specifically the company called Ridwell.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be fun this is our first time ever having a drink while we do this. I don't think we're not
I
going to get
know.
crunk or anything, but
I
I
know.
think
I did pour a large glass of wine, but
I
that
poured a
doesn't
large gin and tonic. So yeah, it's
that's
that kind of
allowed.
night.
We're
Yeah, it's
allowed. We're
the middle of the
adults.
summer here. It's 105 degrees in Austin, Texas. I think I
Oh
think we can
boy.
relax a
Yep.
little,
That heat dome or whatever it's called.
which is caused by climate change. Not gonna get to.
Yeah.
So this is Greening Up My Act. If you don't know, we're a podcast. I hope you figured that out when you found us. But we are committed to finding answers to green living questions and finding the most actually eco-friendly, economically sustainable, and personally possible changes to your life that you can make that work
Yeah.
in a green, sustainable mindset. And as two marketing writers, Tiffany and I both know the power of words to obscure truth
Mm-hmm.
from a personal, on-hand kind of point of view. Or excuse me, first-hand point of view. So we dig through what we call green hooey, which is marketing greenwashing that makes products or lifestyle changes look sustainable and eco-friendly when they're really not. And that is our
Yes.
goal in this
Not only are
podcast.
they sometimes not sustainable, but they are anti-sustainable.
Yes, as
They're
we found
actually
with
worse.
plastic. Yes.
Yes.
So,
Plastics recycling is anti everything
yeah.
we all believe in.
And we do the research so you don't have to is our goal. So you can listen to us for 40 minutes to an hour every week and get some nuggets of truth and make decisions on your own. And again, we're not here to shame anyone ever. We're here to offer alternatives that have worked for us and that we think can work for you. And any change you make is a good change.
Yeah, and plus, if we shamed anybody, we would be such damn hypocrites.
Just total
So,
hypocrites. Yeah, we are by no means green goddesses.
oh
So
god,
don't come for
I
us.
am
We never claim to
I'm
be.
no dressing.
No, no, I am not a green goddess dressing. Thank
No,
goodness.
we're slightly anti essential oils and like other things that are typically associated with being green. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're there with you. We're just trying our best, folks.
Yeah. Not the
That's
best hippies on the planet, but
no,
we do try.
we do.
So I'm just going to dig right in, starting with my
Yay!
sources. And this is going to be, I think, a shorter one than last week, which is nice. So again, a
Okay,
palate
good.
cleanser.
I mean, if it's not, that's fine too. But
Yeah. And if you hear my glass clinking, that's my metal straw. Because I am committed to sustainability.
there you go.
Yeah, the sea turtles got me. Okay, so
Oh God.
yeah, I know those sea turtles. Sources this week included ridwell.com. That's Ridwell. That is the company we are looking at. Then OPB, which is a Seattle online news agency. KGW8, another news agency up in the Pacific Northwest. I think for the first time ever, I looked at Reddit. for some
Ooh,
opinions.
cool.
Yeah,
Good
and then
call.
a website called Metafilter, which is a similar thing where people can ask questions and get answers from the community about things.
Okay.
So those were all sources I used. There was something called W Week. It was a news service as well. And then a website called wastedive.com. And again,
Okay.
they had an article about specialty recycling services like Ridwell and a few others. So we
Nice.
will link all of those up in our show notes if you care to look into them. We will start with, what is Ridwell? Do you know what Ridwell is? Tiffany, have you heard of it?
Only from you, but I truly know nothing.
Okay. It is a waste reduction service. So, this company specifically was a startup started in Seattle by a, guess what? Guess what he is?
A tech guy.
Marketing executive. Yeah, he's a tech bro, but he's one of us.
Oh
One of
my
us. Yeah.
goodness. One of us.
Worked for Microsoft and a few other, Zulily, a few tech
Okay.
companies. The idea behind Ridwell is they take the stuff that you can't recycle in your recycling bin. They take the wish cycling, right? All the things you wish you could recycle and throw in there anyway that you can't really, like plastic bags or plastic film.
What?
They take batteries, they take light bulbs,
What?
they take clothing
What?
and textiles and a bunch of other things. Well, and that's on a weekly basis. They take those specific core items and then they partner with local companies in your area to either recycle it or reuse it.
What?
Yes. So I know it sounds too good to be true, right?
It does.
The way it works, and I am a member of Ridwell. Okay, so you pay a monthly fee. They give you a metal bin that sits on your front porch that says Ridwell on it, so your neighbors all know, like getting a Prius, so everyone
Free
knows.
promo. Right, right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm. And then they give you some cloth bags with labels on them. So they say, here's the one for batteries, here's the one for light bulbs, here's the one for threads, here's the
Oh.
one for plastic film. You fill up the bags if you need to. You don't have to just run through your house throwing things away for fun. And then if you have stuff for them to pick up, you opt in for it's every other week, so biweekly. You opt in for your pickup. They have an app, makes it really easy. They'll send you a text, also makes it easy, or you get an email. They have several ways to make sure that you opt in. And then they pick it up whatever day your neighborhood is assigned and leave you new bags to fill up for next week.
Whoa.
They do make a point of partnering with local businesses that can use that stuff, which is why they only take certain things in certain cities.
Okay. See, that was my big question. I was
Yeah.
like, is this a bunch of cooey?
No.
I just said cooey. I meant
Kiwi.
to say hooey.
I think we have to drink every time we misspeak. Drink. Mm.
Okay. Drink.
Hmm. It's not hooey. I'm just going to talk about Austin here because I live here and I'm a consumer of Ridwell, or what do you call that? I'm not a
Customer?
consumer. I buy into it. I give them my stuff. I'm a donor.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm a participant in Ridwell here. So in Austin, they take their plastic film to Trex, which is a company that makes building materials. And my back patio that I had put on here when I moved in to this house, which is amazing, is made out of Trex. So it looks like wood, it feels like wood, but it's a lot more durable. So that's a reuse of plastic film.
So cool.
Yeah. So then multi-layer plastic, which is a new one they're adding as a regular pickup, which is the plastic you get, like granola, say, might come in a
Mm-hmm.
multi-layer plastic bag where it's not just one type of plastic. It might be plastic and aluminum or plastic and something else.
So like a pouch or something?
Yeah, like a pouch.
Oh,
So they pick those
wow.
up.
Whoa. I used so many pouches for
Yeah,
Charlie.
kids. If you have kids,
Yes.
pouches. Yes, they take those to a company called Hydroblocks, which converts those into drainage material that directs stormwater back to aquifers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty cool. The threads and textiles they take to Goodwill, which you can do yourself, of course, but this is right from your front porch twice a month or whatever.
That's
So
so interesting that they take it to Goodwill, but go
yeah,
ahead.
I thought maybe they sent it to a place that would. I mean, this is again is in Austin. There might be other options, other places, but
Okay.
we are going to have to do an entire thing about fast fashion
Yes,
and
that's the
how,
plan for
yeah,
sure.
your clothes don't really get recycled, ladies and
Right.
gentlemen. But in any case, light bulbs are sent to a company called Lighting Resources, and they do mechanical recycling to remake light bulbs out of the raw materials in the light bulbs you give them, including mercury gas. So
Whoa.
that's pretty cool. Styrofoam they sent to Austin Recycle, and reuse drop-off center, which is probably a place you can go yourself, but it's densified so it can be made into stuff like picture frames, so like an alternative
Oh,
to plastic, I guess. Well, I guess it is a
very
type of
cool.
is styrofoam a type of plastic? I think it is.
I think it's made from oil,
Yeah, so it's
but
a petroleum product. But
yeah, I think.
yeah. Well, and then they take batteries to call to recycle, which again uses mechanical recycling techniques to recover material and make new batteries.
Wow.
So I'll get into
This
the
makes me
numbers.
feel so much better, and I'm
Well,
so
okay.
excited. I will give
Yeah.
him all of my money, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, the origin story is cute. Okay. So
Okay.
it's the CEO is in marketing. So, of course, it's going to be a cute story.
Mhm.
He and his kid were hanging out one Saturday afternoon and they're like, we got all these batteries to recycle. Where should we take them? It was Seattle. It was 2018. And he thought, oh, my local place, I can take them there. But their local recycling rules for their place had changed. So it took him 3 calls to find a location that was actually accepting batteries. And he was like, well, this is dumb. Why should I have to do this every week? Or every time I have a battery to recycle. And then he
Mhm.
was talking with some friends and they're like, yeah, I've got a bunch too. Maybe you could take them for me. So he set up a recycling carpool.
Ah,
And eventually he was picking up recycling that couldn't go in the bin from 60 houses in his neighborhood and
oh
taking
my
them to the
god.
recycling for them.
So he was basically doing this?
Yes, with
That's
his own
so
car.
cool. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. Appreciate this to no end. So where you can use Ridwell, if you're in Denver, Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, Austin, the Bay Area of California, and Atlanta. Those are the only cities they're in right now. Yeah. As of November 2022, according to KGW8 Portland, they had more than 75,000 customers in those cities and growing.
Wow.
So word of mouth is working. I know they did a huge marketing campaign here in Austin. That's how I found out about them. They were all over my social media. They were all over. I mean, it's a marketing CEO. He knows what he's doing. So I signed up a year ago. I've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
But again, it's only in those cities for now. So here are the reasons you might use Ridwell. Okay, they pick up stuff that you can't put in your bin, that you might not even know you can't put in your bin, and they
Mhm.
educate you on what they take and what they do with it. They're very transparent. So again, plastic film, that includes plastic grocery bags, the bags that your like broccoli and stuff from the grocery store come in.
Mhm.
They tell you exactly what plastic film means, the tops to like when you open something and it has a plastic film.
Yeah.
Batteries, again, light bulbs, clothes that you're not using anymore, napkins, things like that. And again, styrofoam. They get the harder to recycle stuff to places that will actually use it and make sure that these places are local to your area. So they're not like shipping it to China.
I love that.
And they're not going to pick up stuff that won't be used,
Yeah.
period.
That's great.
They're very explicit about that. They pick up every other week, very convenient. They have an app, also convenient. And then every month, they have a specialty pickup and they tell you about it like a month beforehand. Like they'll do phone charging cords or shoes or like ladies' handbags
Oh,
or
cool.
toys. So they'll have like a specialty pick, or like in February, I think they do holiday lights because that's when people throw out all their holiday lights after, the Christmas season. So they'll pick those up, and I don't know where they take them because it's different every month, whatever their specialty is, but same thing. Then they say that they've saved 10 million pounds of stuff from landfills just in Austin so far, and that overall in all of the cities where they pick up, 97% of the material they collect is reused or recycled. So that's
Whoa.
based on, again, you have to clean the stuff. You can't give them dirty plastic,
Okay.
everything has to be cleaned and sorted. So, but that means they're only throwing away 3% of the stuff that they're getting, which is way better than most recycling efforts, as we know.
Totally. Way better. That's like
Yeah.
I think the best was around what 50, 60%
Yeah.
depending on what it
Even,
was.
and that's even of the 50% of stuff that gets put in the bin.
Right.
So they say in Austin, they claim a 100% reuse rate for threads, so textiles and clothing, light bulbs, and batteries. So all three of those 100% recycled.
Wait. Don't they just give the threads to Goodwill?
Yeah. So that's my
So
thing. The trick is Goodwill. Yeah.
no, I think I don't trust Goodwill in the slightest.
Yeah.
But
Because you think they're just throwing
that's
it away.
interesting. I don't know, maybe they have different
Yeah, but
information,
look,
but
so they sort the stuff themselves in their own warehouses, and I think what they're saying is that the stuff that they're getting is good enough that when they give it to Goodwill, it's sellable rather than trashable. They said the worst problem they have is mildewed clothing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, again, because it's pre-sorted by people who are conscious enough to sign up in the first place, and they're explicit enough about what they take, that
Mhm.
it may be that on their end, 100% of what they're giving to Goodwill is able to be sold.
Right. Whether or not it will be is another
Yes,
story,
I
but
mean
okay.
that's where their responsibility ends, and we
Right,
can
right,
talk
right,
about
right, right,
that'll
right.
be in our fast fashion. And then 97.9% of their multi-layer plastic pickups they do, and the same number for plastic film. Again, this is so much better than throwing this stuff in the recycling bin and just wishing it would be
Yeah,
recycled.
and yeah, and it goes straight to the landfill.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And the other thing is because it's convenient, Americans, as we all know, love convenience.
Mhm.
So it increases recycling participation. You're much more likely to recycle if it's easy. This
Yes.
is doing that thinking for you.
And clear. Like, I like
Yes.
how they have separate bags for
Yes. It's
batteries and
very
light bulbs,
straightforward.
and it's, like, obvious what you take. I think a lot of the time people have trouble well, we were just talking about this. Egg cartons used to
Yes.
be recyclable in
Yes.
my district because I know that I read it, like plastic ones. I know that I read it on the website, and
Yeah.
then I just
A
looked
month
when I was
later.
doing the research,
Yep.
and not anymore.
Yeah, and it just they're really good at communication. So again, they're just starting their multi-layer plastic recycling program in
Mhm.
full force. That used to be one of their monthly pickups, but it was so popular and they found Hydro, whatever this company was called. What did we decide it was called? Let me scroll up here. Hydro Blocks. So they found a company to work with, and so now they will more regularly take multi-layer plastic.
Yeah.
And they're very straightforward with it. Like, we found a place that'll do it, so we'll take it. And so in other districts and jurisdictions, they'll recycle clamshell containers
Okay.
or polystyrene foam and other things that they don't take in Austin currently, but they do take in Portland or Seattle
Okay.
because they have the partners. You have to
Wow.
look on the website to see what they'll take in your local area, but it's super local.
Well, I was just gonna say I appreciate the fact that this stuff sounds like it's going into like more long-term products rather than
Yes,
just recycling it back into a cup that you're gonna use once and throw away,
right.
which is a waste of time.
Yes, I know. I didn't go deep dive into are these companies that they're working with. I mean, I know Trex is a great reuse of plastic film, but like, is the manufacturing
Right. Yeah, of
process for
course.
this
You don't have
fake
time for
wood?
that.
Yeah, it's still, it's not going to Malaysia and being burned.
Exactly. It's a step up for sure.
Yes, it's not perfect, but it is a step. Now, this was something interesting. So I went looking for detractors to Ridwell because that's part of what we have to do. I was like, is Ridwell really better? And that's where I found Reddit, and I saw this poster when about, well, it's just increasing the carbon footprint to have a truck come to your house and pick stuff up.
Mhm.
Okay, so hear me out. Having a single truck come to your house and pick up your recycling is better than having everyone in your neighborhood drive their individual recycling to the plant, right?
Yeah, totally.
To the recycling center. So one truck doing a neighborhood is better than 15 trucks making that same trip,
Right.
or 100. So that actually, yes, it is a single vehicle with a carbon footprint, but it's better than 50 vehicles with their own individual carbon
Yeah,
footprints.
because like, I'll take my stuff to Goodwill, and then I'll take other stuff to Salvation Army, and then I'll take
Right.
other stuff to
Yes.
Restore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're taking everyone's stuff, taking it to a single sorting facility, and then taking it in bulk to the places where it's supposed to go rather than all of us making those individual stops.
Right.
So it is better from a car usage standpoint. I mean, and hopefully they're going to have electric vehicles at some point, but for now, it is better to have a single truck do it than 50. And the reason I know this math, I used to subscribe to a CSA, which is community supported
Mhm.
agriculture,
I'm in one, yeah.
and it was, yeah, you get a delivery box of groceries once a week or every other week. And the guy who owned the CSA was talking about, I feel really bad about having a truck making these deliveries all over town all week, but then I did the math. And again, if all of you came to our place to pick up your CSA once a week, that would be 50 cars making a 10-mile round trip on average. Whereas I'm just making one 30-mile round trip, it cuts it back. He's like, I did the math over and over again. And that's how I know that math makes sense.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I
Yeah.
I think we're gonna talk about CSAs later, so I can say this, but our our CSA delivery costs like $150 more.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was like, "I'm gonna just pick it up because it's, like, maybe
Yeah.
4 minutes drive from my daughter's daycare, but
Okay.
I
So you're on the way anyway.
yeah, but I have started just kinda, like, stopping at a coffee shop, hanging out, and then going instead of, like, driving home, driving back, driving home. But, yeah, I'm not paying $150 for
No,
delivery.
that's so this CSA, it was free
Ah,
delivery. I don't know if they still do it. So
right.
yeah, that makes sense. I was like, yeah, sure.
Right, oh,
Why
yeah,
not?
I totally would have done it then, but it is also
Yeah.
really nice to be able to just hang out because it's at this little cute market, and I get
Oh,
to
I
talk
love
to
that.
people, and I never leave my house because I work remotely, so I totally
Yeah.
take advantage, so
Any
yep.
excuse. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So those are the why you might use Ridwell. I should also say, if you're that kind of person, it totally gives you like eco cred. I don't know if that's a thing we can talk about, but like street cred, but for like ecological
I
living,
love
like
it.
having a Prius,
God, I love it.
the Ridwell bin,
Yes.
your eco cred,
Yeah.
eco
I
cred.
love it.
It gives you eco cred.
Totally.
And that most eco cred is green hooey, but again, social pressure is a great way to introduce change. And if you can get other people interested in these kinds of programs, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a little eco cred.
Right, as long as it's not with the word that everybody loves to use is performative, so
Yes. I mean, if it really is meaningful, and I think electric cars are meaningful. I
right.
know this it's one step forward and 30 steps back, but still keep taking that one step forward, ladies and gentlemen, please, and everyone else,
Yes.
please do. Okay, so reasons you might not use Ridwell. Okay, cost. It's at least $14 a month. It varies by the location. That just gets you the basic pickup for that plastic film, batteries, light bulbs, threads, whatever. Then you pay extra if you have another bag of plastic film. It costs $10 to do a bag of styrofoam, so you really have to make a collection of that. And then, other items, it costs extra for the multi-layer plastic program,
Okay.
so that the subscription fees can add up.
Right.
Also, it could be unnecessary if these recycling services are available at your local waste management spot and it's not inconvenient for you to get there and it's not too far for you to go and you know what they take and they always take the same stuff and you're able to take it yourself, you may not want to pay the fee. You
Mhm.
may just want to go on your Saturday morning run to the farmer's market and drop off your recycling.
Or if you don't live anywhere near any of those places like me and
Yes.
I'm angry, but it's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah. Well, there's other programs. Anyway,
Oh,
it's coming.
okay.
Just I'll say that it is coming. So the other issue is again contaminants. Just like with your regular city bin recycling, if you don't give them the clean recyclables, they're probably just going to have to throw it in the landfill anyway.
Okay.
Now, again, they claim they put over 97% of what they get to good use. So that's way better numbers than other recycling programs. But you just have to remember that that does put the onus on you to make sure you're putting the right things in the right
And they
bags
tell
and
you
they're
how to clean
clean.
it.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of educational
Okay.
materials because, again, they're a marketing firm. Okay, and what you were just complaining about, yes, limited pickup. If they're not in your zip code, you can't use them anyway. They also take limited items. So they may not even pick up the stuff you want to recycle that, your recycling place doesn't take.
Mhm.
So that it may be a moot point in that sense. The worst part, I think, is increasing wishful thinking about recycling,
Mm.
right? If you think you can put your plastic film into the Ridwell bin, it may stop you from doing the active work of not getting stuff with plastic film to begin with,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what we all should be striving toward. So I know I do this. When I go to the grocery store, I feel less guilty now about getting the pre-bagged, pre-cut broccoli.
Totally. I already felt like a huge sense of relief
Oh,
when I thought this was an option for me.
yes. Well, yeah. It's just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. No, it's true though. It's true. There's no escaping.
Yeah. It would be better for me to just get my broccoli without a bag delivered by my local CSA.
Mhm.
But, you know, it does plant that seed in your head. It is wishful thinking. Not quite wish cycling,
Yeah.
because you are actually recycling. But
Totally.
again,
Yeah. Absolutely.
stymieing the reduce
It's just like
aspect.
recycling in general. Like, oh,
Yes.
this cardboard's
It
recyclable,
feels better.
therefore I can order from Amazon 100
Yeah.
times. No big deal.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Another issue is that, and this came up a lot, they might be skirting important regulations.
What?
And not, I don't think on purpose. But so in Portland, for instance, there was a campaign by traditional trash collection or waste management agencies to get Ridwell blocked because they didn't go through the regulatory compliance rules that are set in place by city and local governments regarding trash pickup, right? So they did say, the news story I read said that Ridwell did a little bit of due diligence. They emailed the Portland Bureau of Planning and Sustainability asking if they could start doing pickup, and they were like, sure. They like try to cover their bases,
Okay.
but I don't think a lot of people think about it was the same problem when Uber was introduced,
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say absolutely
Yeah,
same thing.
taxi drivers were mad not just because they were losing business, but they were losing money because Uber and Lyft weren't held to the same regulatory, like, you didn't have to be
Yeah,
licensed to be a driver, anyone could be
right.
a driver, which is also a safety issue for Lyft pickup. Your Uber driver doesn't have to. I mean, they said they pass background checks, but there are definitely pretty sketchy systems out there and very little
Oh,
recourse
I
for the
absolutely
consumer.
agree with the taxi drivers in this sense
Yeah,
because you used to be able to hop in a taxi. This is a little off topic, but you used to be able to hop in a taxi and be like, I want to go here. And they would just be like, okay, and not have to pull out a phone. They just
right?
knew the city. These
Right.
Uber drivers, nobody, I literally have never had an
No,
Uber driver who
God.
doesn't use his phone for directions, his or
Well,
her.
it's part of it's how they log their miles too.
That's
They have to.
true. Oh, that's true. Actually, I never thought about that. Maybe
Yeah.
they do know where they're going, kind of, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're often, I mean, they're untrained.
Hmm.
I've definitely had people pick me up in Ubers that had never been to the airport before in their life and they just started driving today and it took 40 minutes for them to figure out where the pickup
Oh
was,
my
because they
God.
kept circling the airport. It's
Right.
like, first time, you know,
Yeah.
annoying. Whereas a taxi driver I took a taxi in San Francisco the other day and he was just like, "Yep, I know where that is," and he just took me.
Exactly, and it's so nice. There's something really
Yes.
wonderful about it, but
There
anyway.
is. And the report them, they have their license right there, and if you need to report them to the authorities, you can. The number is right there.
Right. Yeah, reporting to Uber, I'm like, I don't know if they actually give a shit, so.
Yeah, I wonder. There's a lot of lawsuits out there. So there is some question. Okay, now I will say that picking up trash, I find a little bit less concern about my trash
Yeah,
collector being unlicensed.
I kind of agree with you.
If they're handling hazardous materials, maybe, or if they were like putting people at risk, but they're picking stuff up from my porch. They're not coming into my house.
Mhm.
It's pretty straightforward. There was a lawsuit that Ridwell filed in 2022 against Washington County in Oregon because the county had stopped them from doing pickup in unincorporated areas around the state or around
Hmm.
the county. And again, the articles I read said that the big waste companies aren't really concerned about Ridwell itself, but about the big waste boom that's coming. So they're kind of looking out for their future of owning waste collection.
What does that mean, the big waste boom?
Well, they're thinking there will be bigger companies that are going to just like what happens next? Are they going to offer to sort your trash for you right there?
Oh.
Are they going to take municipal contracts out of business?
Mhm.
Are they going to start their own landfills? There's
Hmm.
all kinds of issues with privatization in that sense. It's a $1 million industry. You're thinking 75,000 people pay $14 a month. How much
Right.
money do you think they're making?
Yeah.
They do say that the increased costs for things like multi-layer plastic that they collect are eaten up by the cost it takes to transport it to the places they take them. So there is that consideration. The cost of operations for this is expensive, again, because
Mhm.
the United States doesn't have really centralized recycling programs that do these things. But it's big business. It's coming. I like we were just saying, people are waking up to the fact that plastic is just the worst. And if somebody develops a way to take plastic and make it reusable in a way that every consumer in America is going to want to be a part of, and they're transparent and they have an app, you know,
Yeah, it's fair. If they're not regulated, the hard thing is that you're kind of like crossing your fingers that they are doing good
yeah,
rather than evil.
yeah,
So I get that. I understand that
yeah.
actually.
Trash is one thing that Americans especially just want out of their house. I don't want to hear what happens to it after it's out of my house.
Totally. I mean, I do it. I'm
Yeah,
like, I mean, like I told that story earlier about donating my freaking pasta maker and my like very nice pasta
yeah,
home hand pasta maker and just seeing it thrown in two
yeah,
pieces, cracked apart
yeah.
in Goodwill. I'm like, well, I used to be in denial and oblivious, and now I can't be anymore. Thanks, Goodwill.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, there is a question of that, but it's also the way of the future. And like you were saying, you were excited
Yeah.
to hear about it. I was excited when I saw Ridwell was coming to my neighborhood. I didn't even do the research into it before I bought into them.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm glad I've done it now and I feel good about it.
Right. Totally.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, yeah, there are issues at hand. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I still would probably use them, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there are other alternatives.
Okay.
I mean, there's obviously your local recycling center where you can drop stuff off. You just have to know county or municipal website to visit to see what they're actually taking. And you have to keep on top of that so you're not surprised.
Yeah, I don't think mine takes batteries. It's very annoying.
Yeah, that sucks.
They take batteries at, like, REI or somewhere really random.
Yeah,
Best Buy, like, I don't know, some random places.
that's the thing about Ridwell is they do it for you. They know where the
Mhm.
batteries go and they take it for you. They do the research so you don't have to, which is kind of what we do.
Exactly.
There's also a couple other companies. There's one called TerraCycle, which will send you a box
Okay, I've
and you
heard of
ship it
this.
back to them. And they're like, this is great because it's actually already, the postman's already coming. So why not just use a truck that already exists? We're not putting an extra truck on the road.
Right.
There's one called Rabbit Recycling. There's one called Casella Waste Systems. And there's probably plenty in your local area if you just do a Google for a recycling pickup. But these are kind of the big players that are doing major campaigns on a large scale.
Okay.
They exist, they're out there. Are you ready for my granola rating?
Yes.
Okay. So we rate services and products on a scale of 1 to 5 granolas, one being soggy, which is the worst you would have granola be. Or last week, for instance, plastic recycling was a 0, which was sodden, wet. What did you call it? Waterlogged.
Yeah, waterlogged.
0 is waterlogged. We've only had one waterlogged and one soggy granola so far.
Uh-huh.
And then it goes all the way up to 5, which is break your tooth off. I'm really tempted to give Ridwell a break your tooth off.
Ooh.
I might go with crunchy, which is just below that, which would be a 4. But I do think it does help make things more convenient, which increases recycling. And they're doing it locally. They're creating
Yeah.
jobs. They're transparent. They make it so easy. They take stuff your dump might not.
Mhm.
They cut, or that might take, but it's not easy to get to the dump. They cut down on CO2 emissions by, having one truck go to the centers. The only major detractor for me is that wish cycling factor again, where
Yeah.
I feel like I can safely get plastic, and you just have to check that and be aware of it.
Yes. The other big thing
Hmm.
is lack of
Access. Yeah.
yeah.
But that's going to change.
You think so?
I do. I think they're expanding. I mean, they're making millions of dollars and
Yeah.
they have a lot of backing. People love them.
Also, probably the affordability, because
Hmm.
is that really affordable for most?
$14 a month. I mean, that's your Netflix subscription, which, as we all know, Netflix is trash. Have you seen anything on Netflix lately that you're like, yes?
No, I started watching something last night, and I was like, "Why am I watching this? I'm
Yeah,
going to
it's
bed."
like all foreign movies that have been dubbed in English, which I love foreign movies, but it's like it's clear that they're cutting costs by filming abroad, and some of
Mhm.
them are really good stories, but it's like okay, there's not much compelling television on and it's also like I think I'm past the pandemic point of television is life
Yeah.
where I'm just like I don't want to watch TV anymore.
I watched way too much, and then I just the other day was like, "Why?
Yeah,
Why am I doing this? This is stupid."
I quit watching TV because it's not like the one thing it's not our national pastime anymore.
Right.
Too segmented. Nobody's watching the same stuff. Like I'll watch
Mhm.
with the guy I'm dating. We'll watch a TV show together, maybe, but that's like it.
Right.
And there's a lot of other options. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
I would rather get rid of Netflix and have Ridwell personally.
Yeah, $14 a month. What is that per year? $168.
Okay, that's a single car payment for me.
I mean, I would absolutely pay it. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to think about, like, most people.
convenience. Yeah, I mean that's the
Yeah.
question. Is it worth it? I think for a lot of, I mean, especially if you don't have a car,
Yes.
and a lot of these cities are areas where people may not have
Yeah.
cars, it makes sense to not. Now, there is some difficulty, I would say, they like expanding to cities where most people live in an apartment rather than a house because where are you going to put the Ridwell thing?
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess at the in the stairwell.
That's true.
But one of our former so Tiffany and I used to work together at a company, and she used to say that in their neighborhood, one person had the Ridwell bin, and everyone in the neighborhood came and filled it up.
Oh, that's really
So
smart.
there's a community aspect to that too.
That's really
So you could have your
cool.
neighbor with the Ridwell. And I might start doing that with my neighbors and say, "Hey y'all, I have a Ridwell bin. Do you want to give me your plastic
Yeah,
phones?"
that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't argue with you if you gave it a crunchy or sorry,
Yeah,
a break your teeth
a
off.
five, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And it's
It's really cool, it's growing, it's gonna be here one day, and I'm gonna make it be.
Yeah. Yes. You should. Yeah, I mean, you can go onto their website and enter your zip code, and they'll send you an email when they come to
Oh,
your
that's
area.
awesome. Okay. I'm gonna do that
Hmm.
because I really appreciate how they work with companies that actually
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
use the
Local.
stuff that you give them. It's not just like you said, wish cycling.
Yeah. They're
So
not pretending.
yeah.
You're not just sending it overseas
Yes.
to live in a new landfill.
Exactly.
So, I
Nice.
mean, okay. So that was a palate cleanser from
Oh my
plastic
god, thank
recycling
God.
from
I
last week.
needed that.
There's because it's a relatively new program. It's only been since 2018 or so. There's only one Redditor who detracted from it that I could find. So, if you are out there and you know dirt on Ridwell that I just totally missed, could you send us an email at greeningupmyact@gmail.com and let me know, or tell us on Instagram or wherever? Because I just felt like, is this too good to be true? I mean,
Right.
obviously the regulations issues and the wish cycling issues, and again, there are issues with truck, like everyone quit buying stuff that makes waste.
Yeah.
just just quit buying plastic. Do your best to quit buying plastic. And if you can't do that, get Ridwell. Like it's a lesser of two evils,
Yeah.
I would say.
Right.
But thank God for lessers of two evils.
Yeah.
That we have these options.
Exactly. It's not all pure evil.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
So
thank
there you go. That's my
you.
Ridwell episode.
That was great. I'm very glad to hear that we're not all that there are like some options. And I
Yeah.
love how they're taking stuff that's like supposedly unrecyclable. I just looked up
Yeah.
TerraCycle and I found that there's like through TerraCycle there is a Gerber has a free recycling program for their
Oh
packaging.
wow.
So like
So like baby
their
food and
pouches.
oh, their pouch. Yeah, I didn't. So I'm so behind
Yes.
on Gerber baby food because like there was a point in middle school when the girls were like, "Oh, I eat baby food," which it was, I don't know, I don't understand why 12-year-old girls do stupid things. But I was like, "Oh, it's the little glass jars," and like, no, of course they're in pouches.
Right.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know how new the pouches are, but yeah, they're here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're pouches and they're other little like tubs with little cheese puffs. And I'm like assuming these aren't recyclable, but they take them through TerraCycle.
Awesome. Well, and it looks like Rabbit Recycling is based in Philadelphia. So let's see what their service map looks like. Zero waste in a bucket, they call it.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're in like, yeah, it's only in Philadelphia, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
But if you're in Philadelphia, and they work with Bottle Underground, Goodbye Supply, South Philly Food Co-op, so it looks like, and they take Circle Compost. So it looks like they take compost, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks like TerraCycle partners with all these companies. Amica does the hairspray.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, I think I have some actually. Arm& and Hammer, which is our baking soda. They partner with them. Also for toothpaste. Barilla Ready pasta, free recycling envelopes. Baby
Wow.
Bell cheese, which I use all the time now for Charlie.
Wow.
This is so I'm gonna look into this more because that's really interesting. They're just they take Binabones, the ones for dogs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how this works, but that's fascinating. Huh.
Yeah.
Black& and
So,
Decker small home products like coffee pots and vacuums.
yeah.
Whoa. Okay,
Yeah.
this is really cool.
I mean, and that's the thing is that there may be other places in your local area that do collection that you don't know about yet. But the thing with these places is that you don't have to leave your home to get it done,
Right.
which is the American way. Sorry, the pandemic changed us. We want things delivered to us and taken away from us.
I know.
And I'm going to retroactively tell a story. I think like a couple of years ago, I said this on Facebook and I should look it up and be like, this was me. I said this and somebody took my idea. I posted on Facebook about how I was seeing all these subscription services for they'll like give you like a box full of clothes, or a box full of stuff. And I was like, what
Uh-huh.
about if you sent me a box and I sent you all the stuff I don't want anymore and you handle figuring out where it goes? That was my idea.
Right.
And that's what they do now. From
Whoa.
my mouth to God's ear. But I don't think I could claim any rights to that idea, but it's
You're
on
like,
Facebook,
"What?"
I swear to you.
That's awesome. What
Mm.
if? What if?
Mhm.
That's great. You made it happen.
I did. My wish, my wish. But
Okay,
yeah.
this is really cool. So,
Oh, good.
I'm definitely going to look into that.
Awesome. So, what's next week, my friend?
Yeah, so next week, first off, we're going to have a little mini episode on
Ooh.
Thursday come
Mhm.
out. So this episode's coming out on August 8th.
Mhm.
So, in the dead heat of summer.
Well, it's already hot in Austin here in June, so
Yeah, well, there you
can't
go.
wait.
And then we're going to have a mini episode on how to reuse jars because I have been obsessive about reusing my jars and
Yeah.
I found some tips and tricks. Some from Nancy, I'll be honest. Nancy, our favorite
All hail
Nancy.
Saint Nancy.
We talk a
We
lot about Nancy Birtwistle, who has an amazing, she's Great British Bake Off
Yeah,
lady who
she is
won,
our
but
patron green saint. Yes.
yes, but she has a great Instagram. So anyway, yeah, so and I've just been doing some experimentation. So I feel like I have a lot to offer, but that's going to be a mini episode just for a
Yeah.
quick tidbit if you're interested. And then the next week I'm going to talk about reusable stuff. And so I'm looking into like reusable saran wrap, reusable Ziplocs, and
Just gonna
reusable
clink my reusable straw
straws.
here in my glass so you can
Exactly.
hear it. Yep.
Yeah, because I found a couple articles that are really useful in this regard to look into, are these actually worth our time? So
Awesome.
that's going to be fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. This has been an uplifting episode. I didn't even finish my gin and tonic. I was so excited about talking about Ridwell. So,
Well, I'm not surprised. I definitely finished my wine because I
oh,
was just
good.
listening.
Let's have a little giggle fest. Let's do some cackling. I don't know. I can't even imitate how the men cackle on the comedy websites. It's like it wakes me up, and I'm like, just shut up, man. Just shut up.
So funny. So I think the thing is I don't listen to any podcasts without that, sorry, any male-led podcasts. I only listen to women-led podcasts,
Oh
and
my goodness, you brazen feminist
I
too. How
didn't
dare
realize
you?
that I did that until I started listening to one that's actually really good. It's called Tooth and Claw. It's about animal attacks.
Ooh.
It's really a good one, but sometimes it's three dudes and sometimes they talk about women in a way that's really annoying. And I actually think that they're very respectful in general, and I don't think they're bad people. But sometimes they're just like, "Oh, that hot chick." And I'm like, "Come on, guys. Like, grow
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Like, are you
Or
crazy?" Like,
yeah, it's like
and I because it's three dudes
I mean,
talking,
we have to think how often do we get as women because this might be too much of a like we just turned this 30-minute podcast into a 45-minute feminist rant. But we so rarely as women are privy to men's private
That's
conversations,
the thing. I think
which
that's
is
it.
yes, which is something that men don't recognize is that like
Yes.
they don't catcall when there's a man around and we don't know what you're talking about in the locker room. So there's like this
100%.
disconnect about like you
And we're
know,
not there to be
yeah,
like,
we can't
"Shut
be like,
up."
hey, maybe don't call us chicks. You know,
Yes.
I listened to a some tech bros talk about the wife
Oh,
at dinner behind me the other
gross.
night I was sitting at a bar and they kept referring to their colleagues' wives as the wife. I'm like, does she have a name? And you
Jesus
know, it
Christ.
was the implication was that she controlled the trajectory of this man's life. And I'm like, they're
Gross.
partners, you know, like
Yeah, it's
the
also like
wife.
the
Ugh.
men who are married to these women, I can almost guarantee you don't feel that way about their wives.
Mm-mm.
So it's ridiculous. Oh my
It was
God.
so derogatory. And like this was San Francisco. These are supposed to be forward-thinking men in a, you know, they're
Right.
the leaders of big tech companies that are
Ugh.
supposed to be changing the
Saving the
world.
world, right?
And they still you know, it's funny to call women the wife and like talk about her like she's some horrible battle axe, you know, like
Right. And you might as well be on Wall Street in like 1980.
yeah.
It's like there's no
I was like, am I in Mad Men?
seriously.
Am I
Jesus
Peggy?
Christ.
Like just
God.
sitting in the corner here drinking my glass of rosé because I also am a stereotype. But anyway, it was a fun evening. But okay, so on that note, I will finish my gin and tonic and I will leave you to enjoy your evening of the rosy feeling of having heard about eco-friendly junk collection.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll talk to you next week.
Okie dokie.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Okay, bye.
Bye.